Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Hope that you are having a great week so far. I have been wanting to jump on a live and just kind of share a few things as we are in the midst of ending a new month, right? I have been I have been joining a an online seminar with Tony Robbins, and just all of the amazing things that he shared. Today was day 2, and all of the amazing things that he has shared. To me, it's just incredible because I decided to join this free seminar, and I didn't realize that he was just going to be throwing back so many things that I already know that I've learned through my journey in Herbalife, through my transformation journey. And so I thought it fitting to share some of those things that have been shared that kind of go in alignment with transformation overall. So this month is my anniversary of my weight loss journey. I have been on this transformation journey for 11 years. I started my journey back in 2012. And, he shared something yesterday. So today was day 2, but I wanted to jump on and share something that was shared yesterday and tying it into today's share as well. So this seminar is called Unshakable. And it's just basically like helping you figure out how to have consistent change in your life, to cultivate your best life, regardless of what area in your life you're trying to work on, right? And day by day, he's kind of going into different facets of life. So your lifestyle, business, profession, relationships, etc., right? But the ultimate premise, the beginning part that he started with yesterday was having a breakthrough. How do you have a breakthrough? Why is a breakthrough important, right? I feel like he asked the question, like, what do you consider a breakthrough? And for me, I feel like it's an awakening, it's an awareness, right? And I feel like we've all had those moments. We've all had those moments in our life where something happens that causes us to make change, or something, whether that is a good experience or a bad experience. Either way, it can cultivate change, right? The intention is that it's a new awareness, or something that it can come from a pain, it can come from an experience, but ultimately it's to create change, right? So I want to look at my notes because I don't want to lose my train of thought, right? But it's, how can you accelerate having a breakthrough? And this is important in this time of the year, right? And I connected it back to my journey that I started this month 11 years ago, because it was through a breakthrough moment that caused a shift for me, that caused me to say, you know what, this time is going to be different. This time I'm going to make change, and it's going to be forever. It's going to be permanent, right? And so for me, that breakthrough was, my health. I was in my mid-20s, and I was not healthy. I did not have a healthy and able body. I had this moment, in my life where I said, you know what, I'm tired of feeling sick and tired. And that was the moment for me, right? And it was literally, I was overweight, and I threw out my back. I literally threw out my back. And I remember going to, I got picked up. I was going to get picked up by an ambulance at school because I couldn't even walk. And how embarrassing that was for me to be, in college and having that experience. And, I didn't go by ambulance. I called my mom. My mom picked me up and took me to the ER. And basically they did all these tests, and what it came down to was, like, I had sciatic nerve damage, and it was because I was overweight, unhealthy lifestyle, right? And I had this moment where, I realized, like, I had to go. I went back home. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go to school for like a whole week. I had to just, I had to rest and take medication to ease the pain so that I was able to get back, and moving. And for me, that moment, it was a moment where I couldn't even sleep in my own bed. I had to sleep on an air mattress in my parents' living room. And I remember, in the middle of the night thinking, like, this is not the quality of life that I want for myself. This is not how I envisioned my mid-20s, throwing my back out because of my choices, my lifestyle choices. So in that moment, laying on that air mattress, staring up at the ceiling because that's all I could do, having to be assisted to walk to use the restroom. Like, to me, that was like a moment where I was like, I do not want to carry on like this. I don't want this to happen again because of my choices. So in that moment, that was my breakthrough moment. Like, you know what? I have to do something. I have to change my health. I have to change my lifestyle. This is not going to end well if I continue this. And that was my moment. That was my low point. That was my breakthrough. That was my moment of like, okay, if I'm going to make change, this is the time to do it, because I'm not getting any younger and I'm not getting, I don't want to get worse. And so, I love that he shared that, because he shared that pain pushes us to make change. It's not always going to be in a motivated state. Most of the time when people make changes, it's because it's coming from a space of pain. It's coming from a pain point. And I personally feel like sometimes that is the greatest motivation. That is the greatest motivator, because it's almost like it's an ultimatum, right? To make change. So and I share that because this is the time of the year where, people who have set New Year's resolutions, who have set those goals on January 1, this is the week where people quit. This is the week where people throw in the towel and say, you know what? I don't want it that bad. And so I want to remind you, this is not the moment to quit. This is the moment to reevaluate and reset your energy for the things that you want to accomplish. And this is not just, physical transformation goals. This is lifestyle goals. What is it that you said on January 1st that you wanted to do? What is it that you put on your vision board, your goals? What was the thing that you said that you wanted to do, and how are you going to execute it? How are you going to take charge and make it happen for yourself in this new year? Think of January as a test run, right? Think of January as your free trial, right? And really, really take on what it is that you want. So number one, if you haven't already wrote down what it is that you want, do that first, right? So that you have a plan of action. And then I wanted to share so the 3 points that he shared, 3 points of three keys to a breakthrough, right? It's changing your state of mind, it's changing your story, and then having a strategy. A strategy is your plan, right? So changing your state of mind and your state of mind, your state of being, that is like mindset. That is your daily motivation. What's going to motivate you, right? And one of the things that they shared, so I think day by day he's going through each phase, right? Because yesterday we talked about the story, right? We talked about our story. And really quick, I want to just share the importance of the story that you're telling yourself, because that also is what defeats you. That's also what discourages you when setting goals and not reaching them, right? It's the story that you've told yourself. So I will share my story, and I love that through this seminar we've been given homework every single day, because me and my husband have been doing it together, and we have gone through the homework and sharing this with one another. And one of the things that I shared with him, and giving an example of a story that you once told yourself, right? Because I have always been a thicker, fuller girl, right? Since I was a little girl, I was always thicker. But the story that was programmed in my mind was that I was always thicker, I was chubby. So then being told, or being called an affectionate name, gordita, right? Those of you who know what that means, right? That sticks with you. That creates a story, right? That created a story with me as a little girl into adulthood, into the mindset of, well, I've always been thick, I've always been chubby, so I'm always going to be this. And so when it came to trying to create healthy habits and lose weight, it was really hard for me because my story that I always told myself was, I've always been bigger, I'm always going to be. And that kept me from even trying, because I told myself, the story I told myself was, well, I've always been bigger, I've always been thick, I can't lose weight, right? And so when I found this community and I started to do personal development, I started doing mindset work, inner workout, right? I tell you guys that's what I call it. The inner workout is the personal development, the mindset work, the healing from within, the changing my story is what I started to do. And what I realized was through my journey was that I had to have self-belief. I had to tell myself, I had to create a new story for myself. And the story that I created was that it's not true. I get to decide the kind of life that I live. I get to decide that I can change my health around. I can change my lifestyle. And the more and more that I told myself this story, affirmations, right? Saying it to myself, I can change my life. I can change my life. I can change my health. I started to believe it. And the more that I repeated it to myself, I started to create it. I started to create the habits. I started to do the things that I needed to do to make it happen because I instilled belief in myself. And it had to come from me because I was the only person who could shift my story. I had to stop creating a story around what other people say or do around me and start to create a story for myself and repeat it within myself to make it happen. So it starts with that, right? It starts with the story that you're telling yourself. And then today we talked about so really quick, before I go into what today was, right? A state of mind. The homework, and I want to leave this with you guys as well to do because I think it's really powerful. And truly, if you have goals that you want to accomplish this year, it starts with this inner work, right? So number one is, what is your old story? What is a story you've been telling yourself that's keeping you from living your best life, from getting healthy, from doing the things that you really want to do, but you keep stopping yourself, right? What is the story that you've told yourself, or the old story you've repeated in your head, whether you created it or you absorbed it from the environment around you? And then what is your new story? What is the new story that you're creating? And on top of that is, I just want to make sure I got it. Okay. How will this new story change your life, right? So I shared with you guys what my old story was as far as like my weight loss journey. But one of the things that I was sharing with my husband is that this season, or this moment in my life right now, my old story was that I don't have enough time to do all of the things that I want to do. So I tend to I can't even say the word right now. I tend to break down my time to in pockets to fit, whatever I can. And now as a mom of two, I need to not only be able to create a balance with myself, but also give myself grace for when I don't have enough time to do all of the things that I want to do, right? So I kind of said to myself, and I shared this with my husband, was that my new story is, I have enough time and I can make it work. Instead of focusing on, I don't have enough time, so I got to break everything down and fit it where I can't, like, not focusing on that, because that is, although it's trying to be productive, it's almost counterproductive because it is still with a negative connotation. Like, I need to be focused on the affirmation of, I can make it work for me. I can make it work for me with the time that I have, instead of it feeling like it's rushed, if that makes sense, right? And then how will this new story change your life? It takes off the burden of like For me, being type A personality that I am, it takes off the burden of the pressure of of needing to do more, instead of being productive with what I can do, or being intentional with what I can do, and being happy with what I can do, right? So ask yourself those things as you are creating that new story. And then I wanted to share, I wrote this down. So in order to make permanent change, you need to change your state. You need to change your state of mind. What does that mean? That's your mindset. That is like all mindset. And for me, I feel like that when he shared that, that is something that I connect with 100%, because that is what I learned through this journey, is like how to cultivate a positive mindset to create the life that you want. And I feel like I am living that moment. I'm living that because I continue to do daily. I work on my mindset every single day. I don't wake up every day like at a 10, right? It's through practice. It's through consistencies and rituals, and doing the things that you need to do to get yourself in that state of mind. And I love that that this is part of the seminar that he shared, because it's absolutely true. Like, in order to make permanent change, you have to be constant. You have to be a constant work in progress. Like, we never get to a moment in our life where like, okay, I did this and now I'm great, right? I in my journey of transformation, it wasn't like, okay, I want to lose weight, and when I hit this goal, I'm good. It's like, no, you continue to evolve. You can, as you're evolving, that new bar is set a little higher, set a little higher, set a little higher. But you have to do the consistent work every single day to get you to that level, because you're not always going to be motivated. You're not always going to be inspired. You have to be doing the consistent work to get yourself in that state of mind. And one of the things, if you've never heard Tony Robbins, if you've never have listened to any of his audios, number one is your getting into a specific state of mind. One of the biggest things that he talks about is like movement, your physiology, moving your body a certain way, moving around, like there's something about moving your body, and I share with you guys this all the time, is the mind and body connection. When your body is in movement, it does something to your brain that gives you a high. We know this as what? Endorphins, right? And it's really important in changing your state of mind. Is movement, is, it doesn't have to be like full exercise. And I love that in his seminar, he's sharing like getting up and like doing like, you got to watch a video, right? Because he's getting up and he's like, everybody like, it's like energy breaks. We take like energy breaks, right? And it's funny because we do this in Herbalife too, and we have like our trainings. It's like, get up, everybody's clapping and cheering, right? You got to move your body to get that mind and body connection, and that is going to change your state of mind. But connecting that to your story, right? Words of affirmation, stating what it is that you want as if it's already yours. And I've, through our community of women empowerment, we call these our I ams, right? Our I am affirmations. There's something powerful about you getting in front of a mirror and sharing these affirmations, or speaking these affirmations to yourself in the mirror, in a state of like, I'm going to make it happen kind of thing, right? And after a while, once you start to practice this, you will believe it. And it's just affirming that story, affirming your story. That also changes your kind of like your physical state, your mental state, your emotional state, because now you're building that confidence within yourself. And it's super important, right? It's super important to have that self-belief, especially if you're gonna go for these big goals, right? You have to do these kinds of little rituals that are going to get you in a state of being that's going to be excited to do life, right? So I'm really excited for the rest of the week. It's a total of like 5 days. Tomorrow's day 3. I'm excited to see what we will continue to take in. But one of the things that he shared today, and going back to your affirmations, going back to your state and your story, is the importance of your identity, like what you identify as, or who you identify as. What is your ultimate person, right? I saw it when he was sharing this, talking about identity. I kind of thought of it as like, who is your higher self, right? Who is your higher self, and what is this? How does this higher self show up in your life? Because ultimately, it's about, when you are at your best, you are going to create the best, like, compelling life for you. So your ultimate life, what does that look like, right? But who do you have to become? Who do you have to become in order to live that life? And so when we talked about identity, that's kind of what I thought of as like my higher self. Who is my higher self? And I started writing down, writing down like qualities of my highest self, right? And some of these things, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I'm already there in some of those things. But there's a lot of things that I still need to continue to work on. And I'm not these things every day. I got to get in that state of mind of like listening to my morning audios to get me excited, to get me positive, to get me energized, to show up as my best self every single day, right? Because it's daily work. But yes, when you're thinking about like your identity, getting in the state of mind to change that identity, whatever it is that you want to become or who you're becoming, you have to know like what, ultimately what it is that you want. Who is that person? Who is that person, and what do you need to do? What do you need to work on to become that person and to show up as that person every single day? So, with that, I want to give you the assignment that was given for that today. And like I said, me and my husband went back and forth and shared ours, right? It was, what is your old identity and what is your new unique identity? And I love what he shared, and I'll share with you what he shared. I tend to do this. So when we're doing these kinds of things, and I'm very outspoken, I'm very like direct, and so I sometimes need to like fish out his full answer because he's still kind of in thinking mode. And so one of the things that I shared with him, because it was, what is your old identity and what is your new unique identity? And for him, as he was sharing, my husband, as he was sharing with me, I kind of saw it as like his old identity was, he's always been a supporting role in his own life, meaning when it comes to our home dynamic, our relationship dynamic, and life, he's always the supportive role. He's always the taking care of everybody. He comes second, always trying to take care of everybody else, right? Which is great. We're both that way, but through my own journey, I've learned that I put myself first. I do put myself first. And so, for him, it was, his new identity is, he is a main character or a main role in his own life. So putting himself first, and he's already started the things to do that. Self-care, self-love, doing things that are going to make him feel good so that he can show up as his best self for our family, for all of us. And so I ask you, what is your old identity and what is the new one that you're going to create, right? And then how can you expand that in 2023? And how is this going to change your life? And so, as we were talking and he was sharing this, and I shared with him, like, I'm excited for you because you do need to put yourself first. So one of the things that he started, and I shared on my story, was that he started working out every single day. Before, it was I'm the motivation in this house. So I would always be like, let's go work out, let's do this, let's do that. And when we became parents, I needed to be that for him as well. Like, let's get a workout in, let's do this. And so now he's taking the initiative to do it on his own, because obviously I can't work out right now. And to me, that's exciting, because that's a first step in him taking better care of himself, giving himself that time, and pouring into himself. Because when we work out, we feel amazing. Our energy's different. It helps us show up differently, right? So that is the first step that he's doing to now become a main character in his own life, which I love. I love that analogy, because I think we can all do that, right, for ourselves. So just wanted to share that, because I thought it was super powerful. And like I said, this is the time of the year where most people are falling off. I don't want any of you guys to fall off. I want you guys all to continue to work towards those goals that you wanted at the beginning of the year, and to make shit happen for yourself in 2023. So I wanted to share that, because maybe you're in a fog like most people. It's normal. It's totally normal to feel that in this time in the first month of the year. But like I said, shake it off. Let this be the trial run, and focus on moving ahead, forging forward, taking action, making your goals happen, making your dreams happen. And it starts with the story that you're telling yourself, changing that story. It starts with changing your state of mind. If you do not work out, please make it a mission. Put it on your to-do list to move your body in some way, shape, or form. You don't have to go to the gym. Go for a walk, go outside. If you're absolutely hate working out, like you refuse, go for a walk outside with nature. Nature's therapy. Nature will shift your energy and your mindset. It'll give you what you need. It's like the most amazing thing, right? So definitely recommend that you incorporate that, because it goes hand in hand with transforming your mind, right? It's mind and body. But I am excited to continue this the rest of the week. It's only 5 days, so we have 3 more days, and I will share more of what I get from it. And like I said, I love that it's already in connection to what I already know, what I've already learned. But it's just about continuing to evolve, reinventing yourself. Even if we know the things that we know, we can continue to evolve by continuing to implement them, because like I said, we are in constant evolution, and as we should be. Like, I don't know one person. I've never met one person who has it all together. I've never met one person that is, at the ultimate peak of their life, because that's the beauty of life, is it's an never ending journey. We get to continue to grow and to empower ourselves and invest in ourselves, and continue to just work on that next level. So super excited to continue to work on my next level, to hear you guys working on your next level, to hear you guys not giving up on your goals, and to continue to take action into 2023. So happy Wednesday, and I will talk to you guys later.